Coming to you live from the Abuja studio of Kaftan Television. My name is Dayo Mogu. I'm very excited to be here. I do hope that your day has been going well, and just in case it's not been quite good, I can assure you, if you stay tuned to this station right now, you will find information that is illuminating, information that is enlightening, educating, and in the process there could be some humor, and who knows, before the program is done, you'll be in better spirits, you'll be in high spirits. And I encourage you to just stay tuned and invite your neighbors, tell them that it's happening at Kaftan Television once again. The program is The Polity once again, and today we will be looking at the afters. I mean, like you have how did they say it for food? You have the starters, and then you have the sweeteners and all that. Now the emergency rule is over in Rivers State. Congratulations to Rivers people. At least you can congratulate yourselves. You can pat yourselves on the back that you are back in the democratic world, unlike what happened in the last 6 months. I really congratulate every one of you. At least the civil liberties, rule of law, everything is back in place. And I do hope that from this point that we won't have cause to go back to the things that pushed us to that near precipice. Have we learned our lessons? Are there lessons to be learned? And have those lessons been learned? Do we have a victor vanquished situation? Do we have what exactly is the step to take on the different sides of the divide? Have we truly embraced peace, or do we have the peace of the graveyard? Do we have peace that is like when you put a mat over a hole and you say pass, like they did for the elephant in some Yoruba folklore? And I think that's the same thing about go. Is that the kind of peace that we have? Well, I have with me two gentlemen who will be doing justice to the topic at hand. We are looking at Rivers State after the emergency rule. Nigerians express their concerns, their hopes, and their reservations. That's what we're going to be hearing, and I do hope that the network will also cooperate with us so we can have some feedback from you at the appropriate time. The number remains the same, 08029938365. Maybe that's too fast. 08029938365. All right, so my guest this afternoon, my first time of having Dr. Eniza Maclean. He's a public affairs analyst. You're welcome, Dr. Maclean.
It's my pleasure.
Right. Incidentally, he's from Rivers State, and so the matter affects him directly, much more than some of us, and so maybe that will inform the passion and the depth of his contribution on this program this time around. Welcome.
Thank you. My pleasure.
And to my far right, Dr. Clem Aguiyi, Esq, is a legal practitioner and a public affairs analyst, very passionate about Nigeria, and a Nigerian who wants the right thing done at all times. Gives of his time, a whole lot of his time, to contributing to this program so as to ensure that at the end of the day we can all have the Nigeria of our dream. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, how does it feel as a Rivers State indigenous? How does it feel, or how did it feel when you people were cut off from the democratic world? And do you feel a sense of relief now? How do you feel now?
Okay, thank you. I think I feel a sense of relief right now because as a Rivers indigenous, we are saddened when some of us woke up to notice that there has been a state of emergency declared in Rivers State, of which we never expected that. That was what we actually the least that we expected, because we think that there would have been other measures at which some of these issues can be, addressed.
So you mean you didn't see it coming?
I never saw it coming.
All right, and so it just came suddenly, and there it was. And so you didn't have a choice in the matter, but right now it's over, so you feel a sense of relief. All right, now let's go to Doctor. Well, a few days back we were here and talking about whether or not it will be extended or it will be lifted, and I think I remember you saying almost categorically that it will be lifted. What gave you such assurance, and how do you feel now that your prophecy has come to pass, or your prediction?
Yeah, it's not as if it's you need a soothsayer to tell you that it will be lifted, because
but there's the option of extending.
Well, the indications that it will be lifted were there, and apart from those indications being there, remember, this is a very contested issue that a lot of people felt this state of emergency in the first place shouldn't have been imposed. And it was like both the presidency and the governor were all sitting out to sit out this period of 6 months. I think it is in the interest of everyone that both the president that imposed the emergency, both the governor that was a victim of the emergency, both the people in Rivers State that felt their rights to be governed under democratic principle.
I'm afraid, Doctor, we'll have to go on a break.
Okay.
We'll have to. Welcome back, dear viewers. We had to go on that break to fix things, and I was with Dr. Aguiyi, who was saying that we didn't need a soothsayer from all indications to understand that the emergency rule was going to be lifted, and so we'll go back right to him so he can complete his expressing his thoughts.
Well, like I was trying to say, I mean, the emergency rule is ought not to be there in perpetuity. There's a time frame for the emergency rule, and I think that time frame has come up, and there will be no justification to further elongate the emergency rule, because the so-called breakdown of land order never happened. The people of Rivers State cooperated, and I'll have to commend them on that. And they have to sit it out, and it is a relief actually that Rivers State has come again to be governed under a democratic principle as enshrined by the Constitution, because the Nigerian Constitution was very clear that no part of Nigeria should be governed except by the way prescribed by this Constitution. And the Constitution said that there will be a democratic government in every state of the Federation. In the Federation and all parts of the Federation, people should be able to elect their own leaders, and they elected their leaders. And the Constitution did not envisage, in our Section 305 actually provided for declaration of state of emergency where there is necessary, and if the country is at risk or at war and other things. But it didn't envisage that the democratic order would be toppled by the same democratic government. It never envisaged that. So I think it's a relief for everybody, and I commend the people of Rivers State. I commend the fact that common sense has eventually prevailed. Like I always would say, the tragedy of this emergency rule is actually the fact that the Supreme Court wasn't able to do their job. I wished they did their job so that at least it will guide us in future. Because while many people think that this emergency rule is wrong, some people think it's right. If we don't have a clear pronouncement on whether the president acted within his power or he preempted that there will be breach of law and order, the Constitution did not give room for preemption to whether there will be. There have to be before you can do this. But he has taken the action. It is over. I mean, the court didn't do what they are supposed to do. Let us begin also to think of how this kind of thing never happened again, because this is a democracy we all fought for, and we cherish it, and we want to preserve it.
All right, so the president himself actually made the point that about 40 cases were instituted against the action, and it's unfortunate. It's quite a pain that we don't have a clear-cut stand on this matter, like the barrister has enunciated. It would have been a way, something to rest on, a bulwark, something to hang on for the future. For the future, if we could only have a pronouncement from the Supreme Court, and that I agree with my guest, is a real loss. But I do hope that, in spite of the fact that the emergency rule has been lifted in Rivers, I do hope that those cases will not now become, I don't know how it works. Maybe the barrister will tell us. But I do hope that they will still get to logical conclusion, and the Supreme Court will ultimately make that pronouncement on that. Or will it be jettisoned because the matter is no longer?
It depends on the litigants if they want to see to a logical conclusion, because when the president said 40 cases were instituted, maybe by 40 different groups or 40 different people, any of them may want to still continue with their case till it gets a logical conclusion. But you see, what happened in the last 6 months was the judiciary actually abdicating from their responsibility, especially the Supreme Court of Nigeria, because what happened in Rivers State was clear constitutional matter and require constitutional interpretation. And the Supreme Court is the constitutional court and also the policy court of Nigeria. They are in the best position to have taken this matter within a period of 1 week, 2 weeks, make a pronouncement either here or there, so we know where we are standing. But you see, all these things goes to the fact of the matter, how independent is our judiciary. It goes also to the fact that how do we appoint the judges and how do we remove them. We're in this country where, without going through the NJC, a Supreme Court judge, Onahen, was removed from office. He was even made to go and face a very lower court, lower than a high court, to go and find him guilty of what he never did, so that they can say that they removed him. These are the kind of things we have seen under this democracy. And let me tell you, there are some people who say that the best way to destroy democracy is democracy. Because somebody will tell you that I have a mandate, I'm democratically elected, and he's doing things that even dictators and monarchs will not do. That's what we find happening in this country, and it's scary seeing the way it is going. We pray and we hope that the politicians, especially the executive arm, should stop interfering with the judiciary. Allow the judiciary to be independent. I just hope the legislators also will also stop abusing the rule of law and the orders of the court. They should be able to obey it, because when the executive arm of government, people in power, don't obey court order, it robs also the citizens, who will also begin to take laws into their hands and don't obey what the court says. And it is very, 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 very bad that is happening in our democracy. The court should actually be the last hope of the common man. The court should be the last arbiter of every rule, and they should not be the court cannot say that they are helpless to adjudicate on a matter. And that's what happened in Nigeria. They became afraid, and they so much like they don't know what to happen to them, so they don't want to touch some cases, and they just avoid it. And maybe now that it is over, I mean, everything, they can now come and become activists and say, you are wrong. Oh, you are wrong, but the harm has been done. The man has served the sentence.
Exactly.
If it is died, the man has died already, and you are making pronouncement. That's what kind of things we have seen in this country, and it's not good for democracy. That's all I can say.
Well, we do hope that the judiciary will take up the gauntlet and whatever it is, try to uphold their own part of this whole matter. I mean, it because it will go down in history that a matter of such magnitude was trifled with the apex court of the land. I do hope that that won't be the report for posterity. Well, now the emergency rule has come and gone, but of course the injuries, some injuries will remain. Do you see some injuries remaining, and what kind of injuries do you think have been unleashed on the psyche of the people, or of the people who were involved directly, like the governor, like the the Speaker of the House, or even members of the House, and other maybe politicians generally in the state? Do you think there are such injuries, and what kind of injuries? And do you think can those injuries be healed, be treated? Yeah, Dr. Maclean.
Okay, thank you so very much. I think there's a lot of injuries from both sides, especially on the side of the governor of Rivers State, Sir Similar Fubara, because we actually believe that the governor, in the first instance, is a man of peace, and he has always advocated for peace, even in the midst of adversity. He advocated for peace, and we all know what played out prior to his suspension as the executive governor of Rivers State. And within this emergency rule, a lot of things have actually happened where the sole administrator who was supposed to come and make peace and restore stability in the polity of Rivers State was one-sided. Why did I say so? This is because when he came, he actually dissolved almost all the constituted authorities by the governor. And if he actually wanted a situation where he want to broker peace, all parties were supposed to be involved in the scheme of things. We've seen where all the board members, from the civil service, all directors were all people that are all loyal to one faction. And that is not how to make peace. And that is why even up to date, so many persons in Rivers State still feel that this peace they are talking about in no distant time, there's still going to be a problem. Because the governor, in as much as he has on his own part embraced peace, but what about his followers that have not been carried along? Let me give you an instance.
Sorry, I hope that you don't lose the train of your thoughts. Please don't. If you need something to put down as some of your thoughts, I don't mind giving you this. But two things quickly. When you said Fubara Siminalayi is a man of peace, there are people who have said that he contributed a lot to damaging the peace. When, for example, he took the step of locking up the is it the residents or so of the lawmakers? When, for example, it was traced to him that the touching, the arson that happened in the House of Assembly, for example. When those kind of things. So if you say he's a man of peace and it's alleged that he was involved in those activities, how much peace does he really profess or promote? That's one. And maybe you should treat that so that
okay, thank you so very much for that question that you just asked me. When you look at the political composition of Rivers State is a very volatile state and played a very critical role when it comes to the South-South. That is the traditional headquarters of the South-South, which is Rivers State. And most of the issues that is being raised in the media is actually alleged because it was never proven that it was the governor of Rivers State that carried out those assets. We've seen that, in course of the build-up, at a point it was alleged and there was an accusation that it was his chief of staff, former chief of staff, which is Edison Aguiyi. But Edison Aguiyi also went to court, and up to date, there is no justification to say that this asset in the House of Assembly is being carried out by the governor up to date.
Or his followers. Then when you also look at the issue of the House of Assembly, now when I said the governor is a man of peace, we have seen what has happened in other states of this nation. How some governors of this country who go after even trying to prevent assembly members from even entering their quarters. But here is a governor who never did that. Despite all the issues, all the challenges, he still allowed the governor, the assembly members to sit in their quarters. All of them all stayed in their quarters till date, even until when the emergency rule was actually imposed in Rivers State. So how did you justify that? Then, like I was also trying to explain the aspect of peace of the governor was because even while the state of emergency was declared, we have so many, like I said, we have so many groups, so many warring groups in the Rivers State. Even when they even tried to provoke the governor to make a statement, but he still stands by telling them that there is no need to go into violence because he knows that anything that will make Rivers State plunge into,
violence, the Nigerian economy will cripple, because we know the critical infrastructure that we have in River State. So he tried as much as possible to make sure that everybody remain calm. So what else do you expect? Okay, look at even the issue of presenting the budget. This is a governor who on his own, when they talk about the issue of budgeting, is appropriating money that was not budgeted for. This is a man after the Supreme Court judgment. He called all the local government chairmen and told them that, look at this, he's not a man that will not respect Supreme Court judgment. And he asked them to all step aside so that they will see how they can form a new this thing. All the local government chairmen, they all agreed, and they decided to go. So even with all those issues, challenges, we have so many factions, like in the South Side, when you talk about the issue of militancy and all that, River State is actually the traditional headquarters. And most of these people who are from the Ijo extraction, but the governor keep on telling them that peace is priceless, and all what you want is peace. And that's because of the peace that the governor preached is why we still have peace in River State today. So if going forward, I want a situation where, if we really want this peace that the president have actually brokered, like once again, I commend the president for at least not exceeding, though it was, all over the news that they might likely extend the emergency rule, but that never happened. That is why you can see a lot of Rivers indigenous trooping to the street, trying to welcome the governor, of which somewhere like me, I'm not even in support, because in the first instance, they were not supposed to be anything like emergency rule. But again, what I'm trying to say that the issue is because just few days for Ibas leaving, he was still able to swear in the acting civil service head of civil service. That is to tell you that all the people that are appointed, I know of so many persons that they are all in the camp of the FCT minister. So is it that the governor is not just coming to be a ceremonial governor? That is not what we want in River State, and River State cannot be an exception. So all we are trying to say is that they should allow the governor. They should allow the governor, because he's a man of peace, especially when it comes to the formulation of his cabinet as it is now. We are hearing from all quarters that even the SSG, chief of staff and all that, they want to self-impose on him. That is not democracy. Nobody does that. So we should allow the governor, because whether like it or not, we have crisis merchants in the River State that are just watching. That if this thing is not properly taken care of, I bet you, in no distant time, there's still going to be another problem in River State. Thank God we heard when the sole administrator was saying that River State had to be on alert and surveillance, meaning that he knows that all is not well. That if care is not taken, the problem that we emanate after now is even going to be more difficult. So I want to appeal to the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to also look at and see that the governor of River State is a man of peace. And I know that we are all aware that everything is being geared towards 2027 election. And as such, we know the important role that River State can play when it comes to even voting. So let Mr. President also work in synergy with the governor. Then on a quicker note, we've seen that, okay, now we are talking about peace. And I want to ask, now we all know that before now, there were 4 assembly members that were loyal to the governor. They were very much loyal to the governor before one of them actually resigned, who later became the chief of staff, which had this in the year, of which on his own, he even wrote to INEC to conduct election. But up to date, INEC as an institution is saddled with the responsibility of conducting election. Up to date, they have not filling that vacant, even up to now. Now look at today now. We saw it in the news that the Martin Amaewhule faction, House of Assembly, of course now we will say that there is no faction because there is peace. They were having a preliminary. While the other people that are loyal to the governor, we are in their members with their constituency trying to welcome the governor. That is to tell you that there is still some issues. So if these issues are not properly taken care of, I bet you there will be problem. Then let's look at the issue of the local government election. The issue of local government election. Okay, now look at the local government that we have in the River State. Normally in the River State polity, we have the upland and the river line. That is how it works. So whatever time a governor is coming from the river line, definitely the deputy will come from the upland. That's how River State politics is being composed. Now look at the local government election. How can you say you want to make peace? You want to broker peace. You want peace. Because everything is all about to capture the state resources. That's just the whole thing that is happening, to capture the state resources. Because in River State, we are vast with a lot of natural resources. We have a lot of critical assets in River State. Oil and gas is some side in River State. So it's all about to capture the state resources. How can you tell me that out of the 22 local government, you want to broker peace under the watch of Ibas, the former sole administrator? Then all the members, except one local government, was given to the governor. And you expect
When you say given, when you say given, it looks as if somebody is awarding those offices. Is that what it is?
Of course, we all know that what actually happened in Rivers State is not actually election. What they did was selection. Because I can categorically tell you that most of the people that were in APC, most of the people that were in PDP, they were surprised that the reason where they want to budget the nomination form, what they gave them was APC. What they gave them was APC, and automatically become APC without even having a card carrying these 30 members. So what kind of politics are we not playing in this country? So you can see that there's a lot of problems. So I'm telling you because I am from Rivers State, and I know what played out even in my local government where I come from, which is Awoda West local government, that is partly Ijo. I know what happened there, of which that they had to wait. They had to wait because they were looking at which of the party that will be in case of if there's problem and all that. So if all these issues are not being taken care of, those people that are loyal to the governor that you've seen in the street and the masses that are all jubilating because they've restored democratic principle back to Rivers State, these are all supporters of the governor. So if these people are not being carried out in the scheme of things, what do you expect? Definitely there will be problem. So I am calling on Mr. President that he should also wage in to see how during the formation, the composition of the executive, because already as it is now, I'm aware that there's so many issues concerning a lot of litigation already concerning the local government election that is in court. That is in court. Because even if INEC chairman, though I saw his statement as a damage control in the first instance, because he actually said that the time frame, 1 month, is not enough to conduct election. You know, he made it clear, Professor Mahmoud made it clear. There's no enough, but what happened? They still went ahead. They said there's state of necessity. What kind of state of necessity is that when they not give other political party the enabling environment for them to also canvass and campaign to emerge? So there are a lot of issues. So despite the joy that we have now for the fact that our governor has been restored back, and we hope that this peace accord is going to be sustained. But with what I'm seeing, because if you look at the state of Port Harcourt today now, all the people that you're seeing jubilating are people that are loyal to the governor. The other people who are loyal to the city minister, none of them were part of that crowd that you're seeing there. Not even the local government chairman and all that. We all know how we play our own politics in Rivers State. You know, oftentimes when we want to celebrate a governor or whatever event, they mobilize buses all over, all the LGA. But I can tell you now that as it is now, all the buses that we have mobilized, all the people that you are seeing in that state of Port Harcourt jubilating, none of them were part of the people that are supporting FCT minister. So that's to tell you that there are a lot of issues that will still come up.
All right. Wow. Dr. Aguiyi, do you share the same view that the peace that we have in Rivers right now may be far from peaceful?
Yeah, like my friend the student here have said, there are a lot of issues that has happened, and those issues might crop out again. But I think it is in the best interest of Rivers State as a whole. So I've learned some lessons from what happened and see how a future occurrence can be avoided. Because 6 months of their life were circumscribed under a martial. And
if you add to that, even before that 6 months, there were bad issues.
Yes, even before that,
for months.
There were bad issues, very bad issues for months. And I want to believe, I want to hope for the best. I like I said in this program one of those days, I said, I don't even know what kind of governor Fubara will become. But whatever kind of governor he becomes, half power is better than no power at all. But when he gets there, he'll be able to see how he can still fulfill part of his mandates that people gave to him. But if he doesn't fulfill them, at least we know that he cannot be held responsible for non-performance, because some people have decided to take over Rivers State, capture Rivers State, and if you refuse and make it ungovernable. And when you make it ungovernable, life will be lost. So you ask yourself, is my ambition or the seat I'm occupying worth the life of people being lost? And like I will always tell Fubara, just be careful. Just be careful. Because you are dealing with vicious politicians who does not take hostages. And they do not hide the fact that they want Rivers for whatever reason they want Rivers for. They want to capture Rivers for whatever reason they want to capture it for. It is left for the people of Rivers State to allow themselves to be enslaved. The auction is very near. So if they take them as slaves, they can transport them very quickly to whichever land they want to take them. But it's for them to protect their democracy and protect their rights. Nobody, let me tell you, nobody on earth can take away your right except you allow them. And if you cannot die for anything, that means you're not even worth living at all. So it's the people of Rivers State, not Sinful Bara. It's the people that can enable him, empower him, stand by him. Because what happens in this country is that people will say, go ahead. By the time you look back, you see that you are alone and nobody is there behind. And by the time anything happens to you, nobody even say anything. So would I ask him under that circumstances to keep on fighting? Fighting with what? Fighting with who? I would simply ask that those of their supporters from either side, because I saw PDP issuing last minute ultimatum. I saw APC also giving their condition. I saw some Fubara supporters saying, let's see what will happen when you resign. I think they should leave this man alone. And I think all these inflammatory rhetorics should be lowered down, both from the FCT minister side and from Fubara side. They may decide to make peace and work for the people of Rivers State. You never can tell tomorrow. They may decide. Now that we are back, we need to move forward with speed and work for the happiness of the people. They can decide on their own to say, let us work for the people. Because end of the day, when two elephants fight, the grass is suffer. I want to think that Fubara loves Rivers and Rivers love him. I also want to think that Wike loves Rivers State, having been governor of Rivers State for 8 years, being a minister of state for education on behalf of Rivers for a good number of years, being a local government chairman in Rivers State. I don't want to think that he hates Rivers. I want to think that now that Fubara is back, Wike is also back, Tinubu is also back. I think let us see how they put Rivers State people first. Whenever 2027 comes, let the people of Rivers State decide, because that 2027 will be a referendum for both Fubara and both Wike. That is when the people have the right now to exercise their voting power. Let's see what happens by then. But for now, I will ask Fubara, maintain the peace. I will ask Wike, maintain the peace. Let us allow this democracy to breathe and to survive.
Wow. Well, so both of you are tending towards the position that Fubara is most likely going to be a figurehead. You were saying, you mentioned the word, the phrase, ceremonial governor, and he's saying that it will be best to allow the state to breathe. I mean, try to allow peace to reign. You know, it brings up the old-time conundrum between justice and peace. I mean, can you have peace without justice? Can you have peace without justice? If there is no justice, can there truly be peace? Like what you have said. You have said that it looks as if some of the things that the sole administrator did were one-sided. And if it was one-sided, then clearly that presents a challenge on its own. And so, do you subscribe to the idea that he should be there just to pass the remaining time, just to fulfill his term, the remaining part of the 4 years, whatever it takes? I mean, even if he gets orders every morning, this is what you do. That chief that is coming from Degema, that says, is Degema in Rivers State?
Yes.
Okay. That chief that's coming from Degema that wants to visit you, I don't want you to receive him. The one coming from Opobo, well, maybe receive him, but don't give him a package that is so generous, and don't spend more than 25 minutes. The other the budget, you still not sent the percentage we agreed. I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm just now, should a governor live under that kind? Should he, continue in office for self-respect purposes, for self-respect, for self-dignity? There's an option to resign, isn't it? No, because this is it. Let's look at this analogy. If a man is castrated, is he still a man?
He's not. He's not.
All right.
It's not, but the issue is, I think the issue of resignation, I think for now, is out of point.
It's out of it.
Because we all know that in Africa, it's so difficult when you talk about an African leader to just resign just like that.
By the way, have we had any governor resign before?
So I'm not sure. So it will be very difficult for the governor to resign. But the good thing is, even the FCT minister, you know, sometimes when two friends fight, you know, at a point you begin to understand that, I never knew that this person had this kind of capacity. And when they come back, you all know the SSs and all that. But the point we are trying to make...
When you come back, yes, everybody begins to respect.
Yes, there's going to be a little bit of adjustment. You begin to know that this person is not... I never knew that this person too can go to this extent and all that.
Right.
You know, so why I was actually talking about the sole administrator being one-sided was because when he came, he was supposed to look at the issues,
yes,
and say you're going to marry the both side.
Yeah, that's correct.
You understand?
That's the mandate.
That's the mandate.
Yes.
But he never did that. That is our concern as a Rivers indigene. He never did that because we noticed that all his appointment and all the board members, the directors and all that was one-sided. You know, we believe that the governor still have a role to play. That's why we are calling on the president, because you are seeing, well, like what you are seeing everywhere in the state of Port Harcourt, Rivers, the jubilation, that's to tell you that they love the governor and the governor is in charge. But because of what the sole administrator have done to the powers that be in making sure that he has planted all the people that, you know, are so loyal to the FCT minister, those are the concerns that we're looking at. But going forward, the governor have a lot to do in the sense that he needs to call on his supporters. He needs to call on them because he has supporters that have what it takes. Because, you know, when what
it takes to do what?
You know, what it takes to do and undo in the River State.
Are we thinking of doing and undoing?
No. Yes, you start saying we're not thinking. That's what I'm telling you. Like, if you look at what is happening in the street of Port Harcourt, that is to tell you how people love the governor. Right. So imagine if there's any push to the extent that they will now want to push him out, the people will also revolt. That's the aspect I want to make you understand. Because he is with the people. So if there's anything that will not make them now to revolt against, to say, okay, they want to force him to resign and they want to force him out of power, the people will not, because sovereignty, absolute sovereignty belongs to the people. So that's what we're looking at. But going forward, if we actually want a peace, like the peace accord that we want in the River State, then there should be a kind of I have a stage where the governor will call all stakeholders, all political stakeholders in the state into a round table. Because what we saw on the day of the peace that we saw in the media, that the governor and the FCT minister, well, just the governor alone, and that was why up till now people don't really know what played out. Unlike the first time when they met, when the governor also went there with some of his associates, that we saw that they gave him, was it agenda, what he's supposed to do. You know that at the end of the day they said that was something that is not constitutional. You understand? But in this case now, he went there alone, so we don't really know what has played out. So what the governor really need to do, and to gather that trust from his own supporters, is to see how he can call a larger, you know, meeting and be able to tell them, you know, that look at, because up to now most of his supporters don't really know the kind of meeting that he has been having with the FCT minister and even the president. So, but if that is not done, because you know, Rivers people, we are good at preempting what might happen and all that. So we all know that the governor will complete his 4 years, then is the next 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yes,
okay.
Because do you know what I'm saying that? You know what I'm saying that that's because of the way the Rivers politics play.
No, let's get to that gradually.
All right.
Now, you did say that Ibas was one-sided. If you were the governor, would you reverse some of those decisions? Do you think that's the best course of action right now?
If I were the governor, right now, that is not the best course of action. First is to look at how he will call the both parties Right now we have.
No, you say most of the appointments are one-sided, so you cannot be talking of both parties.
No. I'm not talking about those elites. I'm talking about the political elites, the political leaders of the state.
From
because we have from
sides.
different various factions, so they have to come together to look at some of this issue. Because everything will make the government to just wake up one morning to say that he has sacked them and he has dropped them, that will cause another political, instability in the state. So you will never do that. You will never be in a rush to do that. Because first, there are issue of even him coming together with assembly members and other things. Those are issues that he needs to look at after the emergency rule. So him going after to okay, I want to sack that will cause another big problem. Because it is now, he does not really have firm, listen of the assembly.
True.
So anything will happen.
And that has always been the case. He never really had a grip.
Yes, that is what he will never want to think about it now because he's a man of peace. But first, he need to call all concerned elders of the state politically to come to the round table and discuss on this issue. Look at, if we really want peace, and let's see, so that the FCT minister too will be there, where everybody will come together like Odili and all the leaders of this in River State. They have to come to one place and discuss on this issue, the way forward. But if that is not done, like I've said, if that is not done, I bet you in the next 3 months, you'll see that issues will still be coming up in the River State.
If issues come up again, that will be, no, let's not pursue that. Now, a barrister, now, how do you foresee 2027 for Fubara? Do you see him, he already was hinting, was already going there just now. Do you think that from what has played out, do you think that egos have not been bruised beyond repair to the point where some powers that be would insist on not having Fubara back in the what do you call the governor's lodge now? That's not Brick House, is it?
It's Brick House.
Brick House, right? In the Brick House.
Well, I will begin by telling you that this world we are living in is full of problems, but the major problem is how to resolve the problems. Talking about Fubara 2027 now is a bit premature for me, in the sense that we need to even see how he weather the next 1 year. Because as we are thinking your own, the enemies are thinking a different thing. And God is proposing a different thing also, or disposing a different thing. So I think, like he said, how Fubara manages this delicate balance, the trap he has found himself, the situation he has found himself, is very, very important. It's not all about the jubilation on the streets for me, but also the ones that are not jubilating.
Yeah.
I care very much about
the people who are not even jubilating.
Who are not even jubilating.
And that
man that is not saying anything.
Very dangerous.
I care about him too, because it could be very dangerous.
Yes.
Like he said, many agreements may have been reached. They don't even know the content of the agreement. You understand? And Fubara may not come out now to tell you everything that is in the agreement. But already we can foresee what that agreements look like, because the person who brokered it has a trajectory and a history of garrison commander. And I'm sure that he must have given him the kind of proposal that he would have given them in Eko Nibaje. And you understand? So we can sense that. But now it's all left for you to be able to manage the situation. And I think, like I said, they can decide to work in harmony.
At what cost?
Well, at the cost of River State. Because I don't think that Fubara hates Rivers people. I don't think so. I don't also think that Wike
hates Rivers
people. Most of these things plays that at ego problem. Even this appointment made by Abbas, he did it under instruction. He's not doing it because he's Abbas. Who brought Abbas in the first instance? Forget about what was spoken on television. What mandate was given to him behind the door? What to do in River State? Do you think Abbas just woke up and conducted a River State election? He did not. Like he said, he gave PDP, he gave him only his local government. Of course they gave him, because there was no election. It wasn't an election. Does Abbas have even the right to conduct that election? He does not. Abbas was acting like a sole administrator that was given 6 months, he didn't know that 6 months would come to an end. He was acting even more than the elected governor in the thing that he was doing. He was off the hook. He was unhinged. He was doing whatever he likes because he has the backing of those who have already determined we must capture rivers and we must make it ungovernable. Even if this man comes back, we must have set bobby traps for him. Let us see how we wriggle out of it. But you see, you are not God. You are not God. You are not Jesus. And who knows who will be there by 2027? You will be proposing all this thing you are proposing. You get up in one morning, we are reading your obituary. Who knows? So people should be very careful on the way they assume the role of God in determining the future and fate of other people. So if I were to be in the position of Simifibra, I will be as wise as a serpent.
And gentle as a dove.
And gentle as a dove. You know how you came to this power. You know the agreement people reached. Like somebody said, that the president might come back after September 18. And said that Buhari will not come back September 18, then he come back after 2027. It's possible in Nigeria. And nobody, the judiciary will not say anything.
Of course.
The politicians will not say, in fact, you will see that will live in clap for him and say that this is the peacemaking president. That is the nature of Nigeria and their policy and their politics. Because this is a country where anything goes. And even Hitler has supporters. Yes, the Hitler that killed 6 million Jews have supporters. You see how people who are justifying the Holocaust as I speak to you. You understand? You see people who are hailing and justifying the murder of Charles Kirk because he has an opinion different from your own. As everybody that is justifying his mother is telling you what he said that was against a black man. Because he said something about a black man means that you should go and kill him. Or because a black man says something about a white man means you go and kill him. What is democracy all about if not the talk, freedom of speech? You air your view. And this is the man that was out there to even debate. So, like he said, he's from River State. He knows better. And he said that the first thing is call the people together. Find a way of communicating to them without even saying so much. The challenges ahead. And then when you begin to work with Wike, some of these things will begin to come on their own. Of course, he has planted his loyalists. But nothing stop you if a loyalist misbehave or goes out of line. You fire him. Let me see what Wike will come and do. You not fire him because he's the weakest man, though.
But when he crosses the line.
After all, the people that he bars are put in there are River State people.
Yeah.
But not from Anambra.
True.
Now they are there from Imo State. He has put in the River State people there. Work with them. But let's see how they also perform on that duty that has been assigned to them. If they are doing it very well, what not if not? What not if not? And the appointment that the banks make is not the whole appointment they can make in River State. There are still other appointments. You see, it is because in this country people feel appointment is come and shop. Don't make
After all, exactly.
When you get there,
appointment is supposed to be service.
When you get there, don't make it come and shop. Make it come and work. Make it come and work.
You are here to work.
Yes, now. When my governor in Anambra State was offering me to come and become transition chairman local government, after we talked, the next thing he told me, there is no money. You understand what I'm saying? He said there is no money. It's work I'm calling you to come and do. I said, Mr. Governor, I've always wanted to be in public service all my life. And this is an opportunity. And he gave me that opportunity to fulfill all my childhood ambition, all the things that goes on in my head on how we can make a big elephant to dance. And I asked myself one question. If that local government is my father's estate, if that local government is my father's property, and he has died, and I'm left to manage it, will I allow it to crumble? I can think out of the box and still make that local government to work. So I became entrepreneur. I developed the wisdom to understand that even in the first instance, you don't even need Abuja budget or government budget to make a local government work. You don't need it. Because my people are providing. My people, development in my place, from the communities down to anywhere, have been people driven. The people build their schools, they build their roads, they put their pipeline water, they put their electricity, they put their hospitals. What do they need government for? Government didn't come and destroy everything people had in Igbo land. The Igbo man provide everything for themselves. That's why we have town unions. That's why we have philanthropies. Do you know how many kilometers of road are inspired to be constructed in my local government when I was the chairman? That 1 naira of government did not enter there. Do you know how many markets I rebuilt in Anambra, in Nijikoka, in Kwenugu, without 1 naira
of the
government going in there? Do you know how many schools that I renovated, that was renovated under my wall without government money coming in there? It's just by challenging the people, inspiring them, telling them, look, we need to do this. And they pick up from where they left in the 80s. Because in the first instance, the people built a school that have fallen apart and gave to the government to manage. And the government dabadooed everything. They couldn't fix the roof, they couldn't do anything. So if you go back to the people again, you see, look at this school you built, look at this hospital you built, there's no more roof on it. Because you are coming from a position of authority, government, they take it as a challenge and go back and start renovating the schools, renovating things. So what I'm trying to tell you is that Fubara and his group can think out of the box and make it come and work. I told you, my governor told me,
there's no money.
There is no money. Yes, come and be chairman. I said, oh, very grateful. He told me there is no money. And he was serious that there is no money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because he is grappling with the big picture, the big beautiful picture of how he can make Anambra State better. He has a legacy he wants to put in place. And these are the big pictures. These small things like building small toilet in one community or in the market. These small things of cleaning up your environment shouldn't be his headache. Yeah. It is not your headache. Do you understand what I'm saying? These small things of making sure that the local government council is clean and that people come to work by 8 o'clock and they go by 4 o'clock. It's not your headache. It's not longer the state headache. It's not longer his headache as a governor. I remember one time I called him, I went to a town meeting, and I come to report back to him what the women are asking for. They're asking for toilet in their market. He asked me, is it going to come and be toilet? Do you understand me now?
So why are you there?
Why are you there? But we already built so many toilets, not with the government money. We get the people to build the toilets.
All right.
So there must be a way. Shall he have appointed? Make the appointment to be a work for them. Let them grow gray hairs doing those work. Because I grew my own gray hair working in Anambra.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so it says make it service oriented, not come and chop.
Oh, come and chop.
It's not food is ready. That's the problem in Nigeria. Everybody's looking for where the label, the signboard says food is ready.
Yes.
So we can come and have a feast. Yeah. So Doctor is. I mean, he also said the way to destroy democracy is democracy. Interesting. These are words of marble, you know. The way to destroy democracy is democracy. And as it is, we see democracy destroying democracy even right now in several fronts and several areas. Because if the judiciary is refusing to live up to its billing, to live up to its responsibility, it's a major arm of democracy, and that's democracy working against itself. And as the good old book says, a house divided against itself cannot stand. I think that we should take a breather, and when we get back, please, dear viewers, the phone line is open. Let's have you call in so we can get some feedback from you. Welcome back, viewers. You're still on to the polity, and it's coming to you from the Abuja station of Kaftan Television. And I've been on the set with Dr. Clem Aguiyi, Esquire, and Dr. Eniza Maclean. Both of them have been weighing in on the Rivers State emergency rule lifting by the president in an address yesterday. And they have said that in the first instance, there was really no need for it, and unfortunately it happened. But all the same, it's a relief that it's been lifted. And we've been trying to chart the path for the way forward. I mean, look at what exactly is likely to play out right now. Now, so you also have an opportunity to let us hear your own contribution as you call in on 080 288 38365 299 38365. I'm sorry, 299 38365. Please, let's have you. And like I say all the time, when you call in, as much as possible, ensure that the volume of your TV set is reasonable, and please do not stay too close to the television. And as much as possible, if you have 1, 2, 3 things to talk about, you can put them in bullet points so you can flow. You won't have to ramble, and you won't have to, because there's no time. We're going to give you maximum maybe 1 minute. That's the highest, 1 minute. And so you want to make maximum use of that time. Thank you for calling in 08029938365. Now, so what would you say is the legacy of IBAS, of the sole administrator? What's that one thing that he will be remembered for? Yeah, because whether you like it or not, in the history of Rivers State, you can't blot out that part right now. So what will he be remembered for, do you think? What do you think?
Okay, for me as a Rivers indigene, I am not sure if there's anything.
He conducted elections successfully.
Remember, he
conducted elections.
Of course, we all know what played out in that election. Like I said, I will keep on saying it. The election, it was not actually an election, it was a selection. It was actually a selection, and even with the INEC chairman coming out openly to say that they have to follow the electoral guidelines, that was not followed. Just within the space of 3 weeks, you want to conduct local government election. But, well, just like what our learned colleague have said here, the barrister, that it was the Supreme Court. Ordinarily, they are supposed to wade into the Rivers State crisis, but they never, even up till now, they've not made any judgment that would have helped in shaping our own democracy. But never did that. Yes, of course, he is going to say that he's going to take credit that he conducted an election and the local government chairman were actually sworn in. Of course, he can take that credit. But what happened? When he came, we saw him, the first place he visited was the assembly complex. Even while there was an alleged rumor that nothing is happening there, he came on air and he told us that he has seen what the governor is doing. He called the contractors that before he's going to leave, he's going to complete that edifice. But did he complete? Not even a block. Not even a block. And all the millions. Of course, we know that distant time, posterity will all be our judge. That we'll call him to come and account for every kobo, just like what the president told him, that he's going to make sure he's arrange his own decision and give an account to the governor and all that. We want to see that. We want to see that done. We want to see that done to know how much our own, money, Rivers money was actually spent. We want to see that done, and until that is done, we will now actually know what and what. Look at the issue of verification I talked about. Of course, he said it openly that I was able to save almost 5 billion, during the verification exercise of civil servants and all that. But we also saw civil servants at the Secretariat complex complaining that they've not received their salary for many months, that even the verification, they are not captured. So who is fooling who in Rivers State? So, but for me, I know that when he came in, he was able, because he discovered that, like I said, the governor is a peaceful man, and he was able to call all his supporters to cooperate and all that. He never, within that period, there was no place that the governor came to come and say anything. The only time the governor was even able to come on air to talk about it was when the former head of service was not talking about how the governor was plotting and all that, that eventually led to the state of emergency and whatever thing that happened then. But so for me, as a Rivers indigene, I will not say that IBAS has actually done anything during his 6 years, because not even, he never commissioned anything. Like in my local government, for instance, Awoda West, he set up some committee member together with the sole administrator, and they went to the only general hospital that we have in the local government, which is Jankarman General Hospital. for decades, if you go to that place, the whole of the structure has been dilapidated. And we've been calling on the state government and the federal government to look into it. He actually sent in, his aides, and they came. His representative, they came and they looked at it and said they want to do something. But nothing was done. So, to me, he actually came to come and, install some powers, from above that instructed him to come and do whatever thing. But going forward, sir, I want to also look at the issue of, one of the things that the governor did before he was suspended.
Yeah.
When you look at the issue of the Trans-Calabar Road, this is a road that linked the riverine Ijaw communities. And as you all know, when it comes to the issue of oil and gas, it's already domiciled in the Ijaw communities, in the Ijaw territories. And this is a governor that took that bold step, and awarded that contract. So we are looking forward to seeing him coming back to continue. Because, when you have a governor who is people-oriented, who actually came to work for the benefit of the people, within the short period of time that he was on his own, we witnessed a whole lot of things that happened. Civil servants, in fact, every strata of the state, they all benefited, they all enjoyed. So we are looking forward to see that there should be a peace between him and the House of Assembly, so that that particular road, that means a lot to the Ijaw people, to the Ijaws, because it cut across so many communities and other existing roads that are in the state that the governor was embarking on. They should work in accord with him to see that those roads are being completed and executed, because he said before he's going to leave office, before he's going to complete his first 4 years, he's going to make sure that Trans-Calabar Road and other roads that he has embarked on are completed. So we don't want any situation where, because of this peace accord and some of those things now, will now be halted. We don't want that. So like I've always said, the governor still need to call all the people that are involved in this political crisis in Rivers State and tell them the way forward. Otherwise, if that is not done, you discover that there are some persons who are crisis merchants. They are gatekeepers who are always looking for an opportunity, to swing in and see that the Rivers State is not. Mind you, you all know that within this period, a lot has happened in Rivers State. Rivers State happened to be the treasure base of the nation. So many, so many investors actually left, because nobody will come and invest in an atmosphere where there is no peace. So we are also pleading that this peace that we have seen so far should be sustained, so that investors can come back. Because most of our investors actually went to Lagos, and Lagos was booming. So we don't want that to happen, because Port Harcourt, Rivers State means a whole lot to the people of the South. Thank you.
All right, now just before I get back to the barrister, did I hear you correctly? You said along the line that the governor will complete his 4 years and he will actually do his 8 years. Did I hear that?
Of course.
What gives you that confidence? Why do you think so?
The point is that, in Rivers State, we've never had it like this before.
Like?
We have never had a governor that is so determined, that is so dedicated to the people. He is so focused and dedicated in bringing the dividends of democracy to the people. So, and by extension, this is the first time, that we have a governor that is from the Ijaw, which is the riverine. Like I said, in the River State, we have the upland and the riverine.
Yeah. And
I believe, let me also draw your attention that prior to when he conducted the local government election, the Esq chairman was actually appointed by the FCT minister while he was the governor, when he was about leaving. But what happened? At the end of the day, there's a way that somebody will be so, free. There will be no need. So like what my brother Barrister said here now, there is every possibility that even those that have been appointed by Ibas, there is every possibility that we are seeing the humility of our governor, that they are going to work. They are going to work with him, because it happens during the former Reservations chairman, when at the point he said he's not going to take instruction from Parada B, that he's going to take instruction from the governor of the state. So we are seeing that coming. So if, though we're not supposed to be talking about 2027 as the case may be, normally we're supposed to be looking at governance at this now.
Yes.
But this is Africa where,
we're
talking about the issue of governance, we are not looking at 2027. That's why they will tell you that a stakeholder will look at the next generation, while a politician will look at the next election. So the politicians are more concerned, the Nigerian politicians are more concerned about the next election. Look at 2027. Instead of them to look at issues that issues of insecurity, issues of hunger in the land and all that. All of them, they are geared toward 2027. That even them, they don't even know that. Some of them will even see. Everything is God. God rules over the affairs of men. Yeah. But instead of them to bring the dividend democracy to the people, all of them are looking after 2027, all their attention. What they're even supposed to do for the people, they're not doing it. Look at what is happening in the country. There's hunger, there's instability all over the place. And our politicians, all their focus is how to win election 2027.
And we're in 2025.
Yes. So what I'm confident that the governor will serve his 4 years and even beyond is because the people are with him. So if the president, because the president is also looking at the possibility of capturing Rivers State in 2027 election, let him be assured that the governor, because even before he was suspended, he has already aligned with the New Hope agenda of Mr. President. He already aligned with, even in the budget, last budget I presented, was Christian towards the New Hope agenda to consolidate what the president is doing at the federal level. So if the president actually wants to garner the votes of Rivers Indigene, then I want to assure you that let him work directly with the governor of Rivers State, because the governor of Rivers State, the people of Rivers State are with him. But anything short of that, I bet you, majority of Rivers State come 2027, they will not. Because if anything that happens to the Fubara is going to have an adverse effect in the 2027 general election. Thank you.
All right, now, but in the same place where you say that the people are with the governor, you have also alleged that 23 out of 23 local government areas, only one was given to him. So who says that cannot play out at the general elections? But you see, maybe we should play a little bit down on that. Now, going forward, Barrister, do you think that the governor will have to make the decision of cross-carpeting?
That will depend on the governor.
For survival,
that will depend on the governor. Whatever he decides moving forward depends solely on him. He has a right to remain where he is. He has a right to defect to any political party for his survival. Only God knows where his survival is. His survival may be in APC, may be in ADC, may be in Labour Party, it may be in a PDP, may be anywhere. But that decision is that he will take. But if you ask me at this moment, he must, or he should, not must, he should find a way of forgiving the past. And his supporters also should
forgiving the past.
Of forgiving the past.
This is a case where the victim is the one forgiving, right?
Yes, he should be able to forgive the past. Wike also should be able to forgive the past and look forward to a new beginning of rapprochement, whereby him and his governor can work together in the interest of Rivers people. I want to believe that each of them have scored their points, made their points. Even if the governor likes, thousands of people are on my gate, beating drums and dancing. Inviting Wike, get thousands of people in the stadium to beat drum for him if that's what he wants. So that Rivers State will move in peace. It does not take away anything from you. Now you say you be Oga, now you be Oga. Be the Oga. But this is what we want. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I will tell you one thing. There's many way of disarming a man, and there are people who like trouble. If you see a man that likes trouble, he brings trouble to you. Tell him I don't want trouble today.
He brings it tomorrow.
He said why? He said that I found Jesus yesterday night. I found Jesus yesterday night. I don't want any trouble. So what is it that you want? Do you understand? So the point I'm making is that when people say they have reconciled, they must reconcile from within.
Yes. There must be sincerity.
Yes, there must be sincerity. If you say, I've had peace, I'm not having peace with you, let that peace be from the inside. If you cannot even find your own internal peace, you cannot get peace with another person. Fubara should find peace within himself. Wike should find internal peace within himself, so that in reconciliation with Fubara will bring peace, progress, and development to Rivers State. We don't want to see what happened 6 months ago, even before now, see happening in Rivers State, because Rivers State is being, the progress and development of Rivers State is being disrupted unnecessarily. So for me, it is there for the two of them, or the parties involved. Not many will be happy seeing them working together, including Fubara's supporters. There are those who doesn't even have a hand in how Fubara became governor, who are today his supporters, because Wike is fighting with him. There are those who are Wike's friend, who are abandoning Wike, because Fubara is the one. They believe that Fubara is now telling him. So this is how the whole thing plays out in the real life. So it's left for both of them that have been friends and work together to actually give Rivers State a breather. There must be a way they can work together. And I think Fubara may have learnt his lesson. And Wike has scored his point. Let us now find solution on how to move Rivers State forward together. Do they need each other? Yes. If Wike can use his gara and trouble and bring more resources to Rivers State and use it to develop Rivers State, it's good. It's good. That's why we want people there to be in the center.
Have we seen any evidence of that thus far?
Well, you cannot see any evidence of that because they have been fighting. Not that they say they have had peace. We want to see part of those benefits Abuja is getting. Do you know the resources and influence Wike is within in this government? It's like he's the next. He told Fubara come back on the 18th. He came back on the 18th. He told that Fubara will go. He went. So that is his influence with this in this government. So let him use that influence, not to make trouble in Rivers State. Let him use it to now make peace and develop Rivers State. I want to wake up one morning and we're talking about peace, progress, and development in Rivers State. Not people that are very angry and talking over their head and wish the other dead because you don't agree with his opinion or his style. No. We should go beyond that. They should talk to themselves and know that Rivers State is in question here. That's the way I feel inside me, because we've been through these things, and sometimes the lower they come, the higher you get, and sometimes you be the bigger person that walk away from the problem. And that's why I said, if you come to trouble, tell him you don't want. He said, why? I found Jesus. Let's talk about Jesus. All right.
So I'm wondering now what's happening to my viewers. Are we having problems with the network? I do know that this kind of topic would normally attract a whole lot of callers, and so what's happening? Ogini Neme, Kilo Shele, So how do the answers say? Meafaru. Now, so let's have your call 08029. We still have about 5-6 minutes to go. So let's have you call in and let's say what you've got to say on this. 08029938365. All right. So he says, tell the troublemaker I found Jesus last night, and but the person is still sticking his finger in your eye. And he's still saying, that thing that I demanded, you must give me. There is no compromise on it. You see, because I do know that for peace to reign, each party must give.
Give and take.
Yes, each party must make some concession. Now, if a particular party doesn't make any concession, and this is something I've been talking about for a very long time, even on my social media page, about a particular institution where all the laws seem to favor one party, and I've said that as long as that continues, you will never have peace in that institution. It will continue to degenerate. It will continue to have cracks. There will be problems in that institution. I don't want to go into the details, but it remains a matter of fact that unless there's a level playing field for people to operate in any given setting, if the law seems to back only one side, you will never have peace. You will never have peace. It's unfortunate, but that's the truth, because in actual fact, I was listening to someone again who was talking about the same thing. He says, we need to ensure that in this institution, both parties have something to be afraid of when they make certain choices. But what we have today is that when certain choices are made in that institution, only one party suffers, only one party loses most of the time. And so once you have that, this person is egged on, is encouraged by the enabling laws to continue to do what he's doing. That's what I think I see in this particular instance. So in closing, as we begin to close, clearly concessions need to be made from both sides. Concessions need to be made from both sides. Now, so you're sitting with Wike right now in a closed door meeting, and you want Rivers to move forward. He's going to be sitting with Siminalayi Fubara, but you are sitting with Wike right now. Incidentally, you are Ijo, so you are like Siminalayi's brother. So speak to Wike what you expect going forward, so that there can be peace in Rivers.
Okay,
you're speaking with
going forward, if
His Excellency.
Speaking with His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, the workaholic FCT minister that we all know him. We are seeing what he's doing here in FCT. If I'm sitting with him to broker peace today, I should be able to tell him that as it is now, looking at the political structure as it is now, to the local government, down to the assembly and all that, let him also see the need to allow the governor, in time to form his cabinet, some of the governor's loyalists who are actually out as it is now should also be incorporated in the executive ESCOs.
All right, inclusiveness.
Yes, because if that is not done, then it's like as if that everything that we have seen or we have witnessed is just one-sided.
All right.
But to prove the point, you should allow the governor at least to incorporate some of his loyalists that we've seen
into the cabinet.
Because almost all the actors, all the key players, including the former local government chairman, who lost out, and at the point said they are supposed to have been extended. They have all been given appointment. The FCT minister is good when it comes to carrying his boys along.
Right.
He has positioned them in so many places.
Right.
So at this point, let him also allow the governor
to also at least have
some of his installations.
All right.
We will not believe that there is absolute peace.
All right.
Forward.
So you have 30 seconds to speak with Siminalayi Fubara.
Yeah, I will tell Fubara, see what happens. You're no longer a small boy. Anybody who doesn't know who is bigger than him have not grown up. These people, the power that are against you are bigger than you.
Too much for you.
And I will tell you, the future is greater than
the past.
I will ask you to take it easy, be careful, and understand that he who fights to run away today lives to fight tomorrow. For now, summon all the courage, all the wisdom that you have to find a way to be at peace with your predecessor. After all, it was two of you that conspired and connived to make you governor. Two of you can also connive and conspire to run a healthy river state.
All right, that's it. That's where we bring the polity to a close today. It's been myself, Dario Mogo, with Dr. Clem Aguiyi on the far right, and in the middle here, Dr. Eniza Maclean. And I must say thank you to both of you Thank you so much for coming. And thank you, dear viewers, for staying tuned to Captown Television. I also want to say thank you to the production team. You do marvelously well all the time. Thank you. And I sign off now, as I expect that you will join me also on Matters Arising from 8 to 9 this evening, where we look at another trending issue. By the way, tomorrow is another day for the polity. Don't miss out. Bye-bye.